daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Newcastle. My name is Iain Mackay. I am your host today, and I'm joined by the masculine side of the team. First of all, Mr. Kevin Esther, an unexpected stand-in for Joanne, who's too busy doing girly things. How are you doing, Kev?
Yeah, I love being a last-minute sub. I told you on an episode recently, I said, now the kids are getting a little bit older, right? I've got a chance of being on more. I think this is my third one in a week. Buzzing.
Oof.
Can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. Back to 3 a week.
Well, me and Michael are on 3 a day sometimes, I tell you. I'm joined also by Mr. Michael Grahamslaw. How are you doing, Michael?
Yeah, doing very well, mate. Much better after finally seeing the team get 3 points on the board.
Well, I've got to pause here. Apologise first of all for not joining you for the immediate aftermatch reaction last night, but also
right.
to thank Mr. Kevin Esther, who magicked a ticket out of nowhere at about 10:30 on the Saturday night because your brother couldn't make it, wasn't it?
Yeah, last minute.
So I went and had a look at the actual game itself. And Kev saw me. He's photographed me on the terraces. I could not see where you were, though, but I've got a picture of me looking quite fat and gormless, me black and white top.
Looking brilliant.
Staring into space, looking for where Kev was. And I was actually looking straight down his bloody camera, but I still didn't see him. Never mind. I did manage a pint afterwards with Joanne in the Strawberry. So, it was all very good. Anyway, what a lovely match that was. And I got out the car, ready to park up, checked the team news and thought, it's kind of what we were expecting, isn't it? What did you think of the selection, Michael?
Yeah, I thought it was one of those. I thought he might have been tempted to play Elanga just because I think, you've got a £50 million winger there. You really do want to play him. But I mentioned when we did the preview, us three, that I think when you're embedding a new striker, you need two wingers who play that system all the time to just get balls into the box and get the byline. So he knows what to expect going forward. And, well, spoiler, that happened, or at least on one side of the pitch. There was another side that wasn't great, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
We will get to that, no doubt.
I did say on the team selection, I said I wanted Elanga on the left and Murphy on the right.
Maybe that would work better.
We all know Murphy was the charger for Isaac, so we've sold a very expensive iPhone and kept the charger. And Murphy's now works compatibly with Voltamata. So we're laughing, but I did want Elanga on that left. I mean, Barnes was... I don't like being mega negative, but Christ, he was poor, wasn't
he? Yeah, very.
He was.
It's everything we've come to expect from him, to be honest, at the minute.
I was delighted to see the Joelinton, Tonali, Guimaraes midfield intact, despite our fears that Bruno might be a bit jet lagged and haven't played at high altitude. That we might start with Miley in the middle. I'd be honest. During the course of the game, Bruno looked a little bit like he was a bit jet lagged. And maybe we could have started with Miley and brought Bruno on for the last 20 minutes to keep him super fresh for the Barcelona game. Because he did give the ball away a lot for Bruno, I thought.
Yeah, he did. 100%. He did. It was one of his worst games, I think. But you mentioned in the preview, he is coming back from Brazil, and Kev said it after the game as well. You are never going to do that kind of travel and then be 100% fit for the next game. And the fact that Bruno can have arguably one of his worst games in a Newcastle shirt and still be, not terrible.
Yeah, 6 out of 10.
Just tells you how good he is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for Bruno, it was like Michael said there, when I messaged you guys after the game, I was like, it must have been so difficult just physically for him. But for me, he was still winning the free kicks in the last 5 minutes when we needed him, especially one down on the left-hand side corner at Belize's end. It was pretty... Actually, that was carnage. But Fabian Schär comes belting out and does a Maradona roulette into Bruno. And Bruno goes down and wins a foul and just think, God, that's why he's in my team. He had another one towards Gallagher on the right wing where he won a free kick, which he had no right to win. I just think, even if he's not having the best game, that character in that fight and that just sheer willingness to win is a massive, massive help. And I think also there's a little bit of sadness in it. It also tells you the gap between, I mean, Ramsey's injured, so this isn't anything against Ramsey, but it tells you the gap between a 50% Bruno or a 40% Bruno and a fully fit Willock and Miley at the minute. There's too big of a gap, I think, where you can't bring Bruno, Tonali or Joe Linton out. Maybe with Ramsey you might be able to, but he's out for 6 weeks, isn't he? So
Seems
hopefully.
that way, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I said I was really pleased that all three of them started, and certainly in the first half it was working. Once we got up to speed, um, but I don't know. I think Miley's got to be trusted. If this is to be his breakout season, you've got to trust him. And if you can't trust him at home to the team bottom of the league, when can you trust him? We had to trust him when he was playing away at PSG 2 years ago, when he was playing away at AC Milan 2 years ago, and he did fine. I just think he needs some game time. That would have been a great game to start him in personally. But as I say, I wasn't disappointed that Bruno was there. I just thought by the end, maybe Bruno could have done with a half off and been a bit fresher for Thursday. So, was there anybody else left on the bench? What about the defence? I mean, we keep starting Shaw and Byrne, and I know they're brilliant. 3 clean sheets out of 4. But can they start every game? Are they just going to play every game until one of them gets injured?
I
Michael?
mean,
I think it's one of those where we've just come off the international break. Byrne didn't play the second game for England. Did play the first. Fabian Schär's retired from international football. So I think this is one of those times where the two probably you can keep playing them. I think it's going to be one of those where you get to maybe October, November, where the games start piling up a little bit more, where you start to see different combinations. Botman and Schär will be a little bit more than maybe we'll see Botman and Malik Thiaw or Byrne and Malik Thiaw, because both Botman and Thiaw as backup centre backs on the bench, that is probably better than anyone in the league, really. But those two probably will be the starting centre backs, I think, at the end of the season. But right now, Fabian Schär and Dan Byrne in the first half both made some excellent contributions to keep winning the game. So
They did.
I do have to say, I want Botman and Thiaw in there eventually, but you can't argue against taking either of those out.
No, that's true, Michael. I agree. And but there are echoes of something I was saying running up to the cup final at the end of last season about how it was a squad game. But Eddie keeps picking these favourites, and it catches up eventually. It does catch up. But I hear what you're saying. It's at the start of the run, so they're all fit. So you might as well be playing them to get them tired before you make the changes. Yes, but what a solid defensive performance we have produced in these first 4 games. They're excellent. 3 clean sheets. I know Liverpool scored 3, but they had 0.65 xG in that game. Didn't get in the box. Didn't shoot in the box. It's shaping up to be the sort of season like it was 2 years ago, where it's all built on only losing 3 times throughout the entire season. Is that a winning formula in the Champions League or in the Premier League? Do you like it?
I think if you only lose 3 times in a season, you can't complain about that. That's incredible. But I think just going back to the rotation, what you were talking about as well, very briefly, I think the timing had a lot to do with it. So not particularly international breaks, like Michael said. I think that does have something to do with it. But I think if we already had 6 points on the board, Miley might have started, and Bruno might have been. But we were desperate for a win, weren't we? So I think later on in the season, like Michael said, in terms of October, November, when you maybe sat comfortably in 3rd or 4th, and you're defensively solid with that back 5, including the keeper, obviously, then I think you might see more rotation. But going back to what you said about the defensive, I love being solid defensively. I think everybody does. I think everyone said for years, haven't we, defenses win league titles. I'm not saying we're going to win the league title, but the way we've started, it's a very promising way. I know the Liverpool game was, I mean, we had 10 men and it was unbelievable to get back to 2-2 anyway. So I think you can almost take that one out of a defensive record for me. And going back to the other thing you said about the defence with Eddie picking his favourites, I think you only become a favourite by being trusted. And if Fabian Schär was 10 years younger, we'd be losing him for 90, 100 million at Real Madrid, I think. He was so good. Amazing on the ball. His passing was bang on. He dealt with their big striker really well. He made it was as good as a goal. The first half, the ball came flashing across the box, and Shaw put it behind for a corner. That's as good as a goal, because if Wolves score there, the tails are up. They started well, and we're in trouble, and we're against it. And then Burn equally 1-on-1 with the Wolves striker again in the box, made a sliding tackle where he just hooked his left leg around at the Gallagher end and kept it in. So them two contributions alone for me is as good as goals. So I think it's a great way to be. Yes, we all want to see expansive attacking football, but I mean, if you're not conceding goals, you're not going to lose many games without trying to sound like Michael Owen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Just to finish off on the defence, I think it's got to be noted. Nick Pope's been reborn this season,
Brilliant.
hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's still a great shot
Excellent.
stopper, but actually his distribution's not bad at all now. He's looking
That
far
was
more
good.
assured. He's quick. He's
Competition.
throwing it out. He's Ramsdale must be having a word with him in training, or he's copying off him. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I know it's meant to be competition, and we think Ramsdale was going to take over from Pope. That was our assumption.
Yeah.
Ramsdale can't get a look in yet. He hasn't put a foot wrong. I've
agree.
cursed him for Thursday now, of
Yep,
course.
that's it. 2 clangers against Barca. Oh,
Yeah,
it's only Wolves.
Anyway, look, it's grand. I know you looked at almost kick by kick like yesterday, Michael. We're not going to do that. I'm going to do the ad for Bioniq, and we'll come back and just examine how exciting having Big Nick as centre forward is for us.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
We're back for part 2, and we're going to talk about Nick Voltemade. Kevin, you put me in a seat where I'm sitting at perfect height, perfect angle to watch that ball from Murphy drop, to see Voltemade take 2 paces back to lose the centre-half, rise majestically like an eagle, and thump that ball into the back of the net. What a goal that was. And he doesn't score headers, That's not what he's in the team for. So many really good touches in the first half. I mean, I know he tired. Apparently he came off at 65 minutes because the cramp was doing him in because he'd run so hard. But what a fabulous debut to make. He'd had 2 full training sessions with his team. He was waiting for a cross from Murphy because Murphy told him he crossed it a lot. Apparently that was as much as much planning as they had for that sort of thing.
Murphy just said to him, across the ball off.
Yeah, just keep watching for the crosses. Each of you, I'll come to you first, Kev. What pleased you about Voltemade's performance?
Everything. I'm falling in love with a striker already, and it's one game. I mean, I'm normally so calm, and I'm like, I give him a chance. This could just be a purple patch. No. This guy's my new favorite player. You're right. Heading isn't apparently his strength, but it's for me. I think his strength is intelligence. Just from one game. I mean, I could be miles off it here, but the acknowledgement to peel away from a defender, because he clearly read the flight of the ball better than the centre half. He clearly knew he had to take them 2 paces back, and that got him in the right position, and he handled being in that position brilliantly. I thought it was a fantastic header. Not as easy as what maybe some people on Match of the Day just said, oh yeah, he heads it in. I was like, he doesn't just head it in. That's an insane header.
It's behind him a little bit, isn't it? I mean,
he
really has to crane his neck and get him.
Jumping off his left foot when his right foot's so strong. It's a very, very, very difficult header, and he does very well to place it where he does. But there was a couple of incidents, like you said. There was a pullback across the box, which wasn't meant for Voltemade, but he was intelligent enough to realise that, I can't remember who made the run. The player had already made the run, and the ball was going to go behind him. So Voltemade dropped right at the edge of the box and picked the ball up and laid it back to Murphy. He just seems like a very intelligent player. And that incident, the first half, when Barnes was offside, we scored. Barnes was offside. I think Murphy put it in the end. he gets a ball with 3 or 4 around him, and he's just so calm. That's why I call him Fernando Berbatov, right? He's got the pace of Fernando Torres, the touch and the class of Berbatov, and his goal was a Peter Crouch goal, wasn't it? So Fernando Berbatov. But it was the composure, 4 players around him, chip it over into Barnes. Barnes obviously didn't time his run right, but he was closer than what I thought when I saw the replay. I thought live, by miles off, I'm not going to celebrate this. But actually, when Match of the Day or Sky Sports showed it, he was actually very, very close. But yeah, I love him. I think so far he just looks very intelligent, and I think he'll fit in fantastically well. I think he'll be able to adapt with different players. I think we'll see a different type of Voldemort when it's a Langer and Gordon. I think he might drop into almost a false 9, a 10, and let their pace just come inside and create like go into the space he creates centrally when he comes deep. So I think he can play different with different players. With Murphy and Barnes, he can be that big Peter Crouch type player, and with Alanger and Gordon, he can be the Berbatov. So, yeah, I love him. Absolutely love the bloke. I hope he's here for the next 15 years, and he's not another Carl Court. I don't think he will be, but yeah.
Did he look as good on telly, Michael?
Yeah, he was absolutely fantastic. For me, I mean, I mentioned yesterday he was involved in everything. And when I looked afterwards, he had less touches of the ball than any other player who started the game. But he arguably did the most off and on the ball. Like, I remember a number of times where he came either to the right wing or into our own half to try and win the ball back. And I'm sitting there going, that's our striker. What is he doing there? And that sort of work ethic reminds me quite a bit of a young Harry Kane. I'm not saying he's going to score the goals of a young Harry Kane. If he gets half as many,
he's going to
I'll be
double
a
what
very
Kane's
happy
goal.
A lot of people think Harry Kane's terrible, so he might just do that. But 6'6", great intelligence, the work ethic of Miguel Almiron. I'm sitting there thinking, who have we signed?
Miguel Berbatov. Maybe we'll change it.
Honestly, he was fantastic, and maybe it was just the debut sort of adrenaline, but if he does that every other game, he's going to be very, very happy on Tyneside.
Well, I agree, but there's a nag. I've got this nag in the back of my head. When Wissa's fit, hopefully in days rather than months, where does he fit into the team? Where do we pick him? If we've got an actual nippy number 9 leading the line, playing centre forward, where does he go?
I think
you've got 2.5 minutes to answer that between you.
I'll only take a minute, I think, because I think mine might not be bang accurate. But do you know when we had Isaac and Wilson in that season where we finished 4th, and at times they would play together, and Isaac went left wing? I don't think he'll do it this time. I think what he'll do is take a midfielder out, because like we said about the gap of that first 3 midfielders, the gap below them isn't quite there. I think if you take one out and go with a 4-2-3-1, I don't think this will happen every game, but at home to a Wolves or at home to a Burnley where we're just going to sit back, I think you can free up that midfielder, put Voldemort behind Wissa, or we can interlock. But like Michael made a great point, if Voldemort's coming to our own half, look how much space there is for the wide men to come in. So you could even play Wissa as a wide man, but I don't think he'll do that. I think at home it'll be the case of 4-2-3-1 with Voldemort in the 10 and Wissa through the middle. But I do think there's a possibility, because Wissa did it at Brentford when Ivan Toney was there. Wissa can play as like an inside forward on the right or left, and he can kind of drift and intermingle. Gordon could be the third. He could kind of swap out. But yeah, I think it's very exciting. I think there's lots of options, and I think it makes us more unpredictable. Sorry, Michael, I took more than a minute there.
It's all right.
Michael, is that the answer? Where would you play him?
I would love to see that personally. I think what will end up happening, I think it'll be a case of, let's be honest, we've got so many injuries, we always do. There'll always be a space for both players, but I think when everyone is fully fit, it depends on the opposition. You're playing a Wolves, as Kev mentioned, that's when a Voldemort can start up front, because Wissa's not going to get much time to get in and behind. And then if we're 1-0 up, they're going to start trying to attack like Wolves did. I mean, it took them 75 minutes to do anything after the first 5. But that's when Wissa can come on and cause the damage against Barcelona. Let's say they're both fit this week. Start Voldemort against the likes of Wolves. Start Wissa against Barcelona, because Barcelona are going to have so much of the ball. We're going to hit on the counter. And it almost meshes perfectly with Barnes, Murphy, Gordon, Alanga on the wings as well. So we can play pretty much any style, as Kev said, and it just makes us so much harder to play against. So Bring on the next game.
Oh yeah.
I quite fancy 4-2-3-1 with Voltemada as the number 10.
Mm.
But that takes Joe Linton's place in the team, and there'll be games where we need Joe Linton rather than a number 10, won't there?
Yeah.
So horses for courses. That's going to be the answer. I'm going to pause there and ask Michael to give us the Zencastr advert, because I'm interested in whether you think that was a decent enough preparation for the Barcelona game or not.
Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we have spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. And Zencastr came out the clear winner with 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs. It is super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Zencastr is fantastic, but it's not going to be able to sort out AI editing.
E-I-E-I-O.
It's just not going to do that.
Premier League we go.
Anyway, part 3. Looking forward. I thought it was a decent enough prep. People getting back from their international break. I prefer Bruno not to have played the full 90 minutes because he did look shattered by the end of it. But he's like Tonali, isn't he? They're like bloody Duracell bunnies. They just keep going. Thursday against Barcelona, are we absolutely certain? Put your mortgage on the fact that Gordon will start on the left wing and Barnes will sit it out? I mean, that would be my choice.
Yeah, I think we are. I think Barnes hasn't played well enough to cement his position. If Barnes had a good game against Wolves, I think he would have kept his place, said he's loyal to players like that. You do well, I'll keep you in the team. We saw when he was putting corkers in against Man United and stuff, he was still getting in. But you have to let Gordon back in. Have Elanga and Gordon on the wing for the first time.
Mm.
So you pick Elanga rather than Murphy to start, would you?
Against Barcelona, I would, yeah. I
Because we're
think
on the transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think we might go 5 at the back and have 5-3-2 with Gordon and Isaac. Gordon and Voltemada. I mean, Alex who? I don't even know who he is. He hasn't scored, has he? Voltemada's got more this season. What?
Not even playing.
Anyway, I think we'll go 5-3-2, and I think it might be the 5 at the back with Botman, almost like the Leeds team. I know it was a bit weird doing it against Leeds, but they actually have a ridiculously good home record. I think with Barca being such an attacking team, if you've got Gordon's pace up the pitch, and then you've got obviously Voltemada to kind of drop deep and link it between the midfield and Gordon, I think you could be still dangerous on the counter. If that all goes well and we go kind of man for man, high press, try and beat it, but then sit deep once we get past the halfway line, I think once we're tired, you can bring on people like Elanga to come and maybe kill them off in that last 20 minutes. Hopefully Wiss is fit. That's the thing. He's only missed about 2 or 3 games for Brentford. We've got no idea if he's going to be ready for Barca. And if he is ready for Barca, it's what a debut that is.
It looks bad though, doesn't it? Because it's a knee injury and he's been to see a specialist, and even 24 hours after Howe released that news, more than 24 hours after that, he still has no update. It's not like he's phoned up and gone, "Oh, it's fine this morning. Actually, it's it was just a knock." He's not. I think it's an injury. I think he's out for a few weeks, but that's just my worries. Well, I'm not that worried.
There was articles going out literally in the last hour saying that it looks like he's going to be out for 4 to 5 weeks.
Oh, Christ. He's only missed 5 weeks of his whole time in England?
Yeah.
Combined?
Never mind. I agree with you, by the way, whoever said 5-3-2. But I think, and I think that's got to be Shah Botman Burn.
Mm-hmm.
I would put Hall in on the left side, wing back, rather than and Tino across to the right and leave Trippier out, purely from a pace angle.
Yeah.
What do you think? Could you keep Kieran Trippier, or would you want to see some pace? They're going to be up and down, and you need some athletes, don't you? You need some
I
fast
wouldn't be
athletes.
putting Lewis Hall in for his first start against Barcelona, personally. I'd be keeping... Yeah, Trippier was one of our better players, apparently, according to other people. I didn't think he was that good yesterday, but some places had him down as man of the match, which... Yeah, I didn't think that, but if he did put in a decent performance. He was slightly out of it at times, but I think when you're up against the attacking talent that Barcelona have, I'm aware Lewis Hall has kept Salah quiet, he's kept Saka quiet, but when he wasn't even trusted to come. Was he trusted to come on yesterday? I don't think he was.
No, didn't come on.
No, didn't come on. So it's one of those where he's got 60 minutes under his belt. I can't ask him to start against Rafinha. In that case,
I am. Well, Rafinha's just a Leeds reject, though, isn't he?
I'd sell my soul for him at a tune.
I'd sell all of our souls.
Yeah, I'd sell all of our souls on this pod without consent just to get Rafinha at a tune. I think the whole one's a great question. I do get what Michael's saying. Coming in for your first full 90 or your first start against there's no Yamal, thank God, but we'll come to that in about 2 minutes.
Well, I think if he must have had a setback. Hall must have had a setback not to come on yesterday, because if he hadn't had a setback, that was a perfect opportunity for him. Wolves at home were ahead. The defence is looking assured, unless he's obviously fit and he just was getting saved because he's going to play against Barcelona.
I don't think any of us are, but let's not underestimate Trippier's leadership qualities. I know on the pitch he wasn't fantastic. I don't think he's had a brilliant start of the season, Trippier. I thought there was a period last season when Trippier came back into the team and he was like the Trippier we first had, and he was brilliant in terms of on the pitch. But look how important he was in that cup final last season, just how calm he was on the ball, chesting it back to the keeper, calming everything down. I think we're going to need that against Barcelona, because there's going to be times we're going to be under the cosh. I think it's not going to sum it up properly, but there's not many PC ways to sum up how I think Barcelona are going to come at us. So, like I say, I think we need that leadership quality. I would love to see Hall and Tino with the 3 centre-halves, because it really gives them license to come into the midfield and help out or add a bit of width. So I love the idea Iain's talking about, but I also understand Michael's kind of concerns where, can you really bring him in? I don't think you set him up to field, because I think he's fantastic, but it's tough to come straight back in.
It's a big ask.
In an unfamiliar formation as well. I know we've done 5 at the back before with Hall, but he's used to 4, so I think it'll be the 5 at the back. I think it'll be Trippier right and Tino left.
Right. It's good of us, isn't it, Michael, for us to make our points so that Kevin can just sit on the fence all of the time.
I think Trippier right back, 5 at the back. There you go. I'm not going to do a Nicola.
There we go. I haven't contributed to this pod.
Well, she contributed more to this pod than the last one she did. Sorry. Bad.
The New York.
She's been mentioned in this pod, which wasn't happening the last time. So, was it a good prep? Yes or no, Michael?
No, absolutely not. Barcelona will play a completely different way. I think it's one of those where I would have preferred to have played a team that would have liked to have had a bit more of the possession, played a bit quicker with the ball, let's be honest. Wolves were about as toothless as as Kev's children.
Yeah.
I assume at the moment, yeah.
Well, one of them's pretty toothless.
One of them, yes. Children's probably not right, but yeah. The newborn. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I thought Wolves, they could have had the ball for 90 minutes and they wouldn't have done anything. Barcelona, you probably give them a ball for 30 seconds and they can cause you some problems. And just worth noting as well, tonight, Barcelona have rested quite a few players. But we can get to that.
Was it a good prep, Kev?
Tactically, no. Physically and mentally, yes. I think a clean sheet's always a good prep in terms of psychologically. Brilliant prep, keeping another clean sheet. I also think psychologically it's good prep because we are going to have less of a ball, but you're more willing to have less of it when you've just had a game where you've had 70% of it, I think. I'm always trying to look at the positives. And then I think physically, obviously the players who will play, Gordon, I think is bound to play against Barca. I think Elanga will play a big part in the transition. But he didn't get any minutes. So, well, I think Elanga did get some, but not many. So, like I say, I'm pretty excited, physically and psychologically.
Can't wait for it.
But yeah, it's everything in the 90s is coming back now, isn't it? Flip phones are back, fold phones are back, flare jeans are back. 90s music's even coming back, just remastered. And now we've got Barcelona, Newcastle, St James's Park. What a time!
Who's scoring the hat trick though? That's the question.
That's right. And then we saw Tino in the Tino in the advert, didn't we? He still looked like he could come on and do 30 minutes for us.
Better than Osula does.
Oh, poor Will. Poor Will. He'll end up coming on. What do you think of the view that I heard this afternoon that actually we didn't tie it and tail off. We just decided after 60 minutes that we'd done enough and we could just do the old Italian national side trick of being one up and just hold them off. Just play the game out without too much stress, not herring up and down the field and pressing really hard and trying to score 2, 3, 4, 5. We just held them off for the last half an hour, which is what we did, really. I mean, I don't think Wolves managed a shot, did they? They might have had the ball. It might have looked like some nice patterns on the halfway line.
It was a very Floyd Mayweather performance, wasn't it? If you're going to put it at boxing, get ahead on points and then just stay far enough away, keep them at bay, keep them at arm's length so that you hang on to the points victory. I think, I don't know if that was intentional. I think Howe's mentality is always try and blow them away, try and attack, try and score goals.
Yeah.
So I think, you know what, Wolves are better than what we all thought, I think. I don't think any of us expected Wolves to be brilliant. I really like Bueno, that fullback there, number 3.
Fullback was good.
Yeah.
So I think Wolves this season, if we can get Strand Larson back in the team, I think we might be okay. I think there might be, obviously we're going to miss Cunha, but I think we've got enough about them to stay up if we can get Strand Larson fit. I know he wants to come to us in January, but we might let them keep him until the summer again. PSR is no issue now. We can just every Premier League game now is a scouting mission. Thanks to Alexander Isak and Liverpool. Just PSR's gone. Do we want him? Nah, don't want him. Might have him. Might take Bueno. We might take Strand Larson. We'll just see who we want in the summer. Lovely stuff.
Well, after the Barcelona
more like
game,
Liverpool every day.
after the Barcelona game,
everything we hate.
next Sunday, I hope we're watching Semenyo closely at Bournemouth because I think he's a lovely player. Anyway, thank you very much, boys, for helping me to review the game. 3 points, of course, which takes us into the top of the table. I think after City blew Man United away, they've gone ahead of us, but we're still 10th, and everybody's played. I did spy if we win at Bournemouth, we get 8 points, and Chelsea are 5th on 8 points at the moment, so we're not far off. But anyway, we've got the Champions League to think about before the next Premier League match, which is on Thursday. I think we've got, at some point, we're going to go through all of our games and do some points predictions. That's got to be coming up soon, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think
maybe tomorrow.
Wednesday's episode, I think. Tuesday night we record that.
Okay, that's exciting. Anyway, thanks very much, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Kevin, for joining me. We'll see you all very, very soon.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.